One of my favorite things about cooking is that it can be as easy as opening a box and following a package's instructions, or as difficult as making a classic French sauce. And any of these approaches can be equally satisfying. Stovetop mac and cheese is a perfect example of this, where there are so many approaches you can take, all getting to slightly different, but arguably equally delicious results. So in today's video, I'm gonna share not only 3 incredible recipes to make stovetop mac and cheese at home that run from as simple as doctoring boxed mac to the classic Mornay sauce style, but I also want to provide a framework for you to be able to choose which technique and recipe might be the right one for you. So let's dive right into what is by far the easiest of the 3, but also my likely go-to. Pick your preferred box of mac and cheese. My wife has a strong preference for this brand. Cook it according to the package instructions, but instead of adding milk and butter at the end, add the cheese powder packet and a slice of your favorite cheese. If you've watched the channel before, you may know that I have a strange obsession with pepper jack, but any cheese will work here. More on that in just a moment. There should be enough heat left in the pasta to melt the cheese, and once it's melted, add a heaping tablespoon of sour cream and some chopped up herbs. Hands down, one of the easiest ways to level up anything that you cook is to add an allium to it, be it shallot, garlic, scallion, ramp, or in this case, chives, which I minced up along with some parsley and stirred into the pot. That's it, done in about 10 minutes and delicious. This technique is my personal go-to because to me, mac and cheese is an easy fallback, and this method is surprisingly tolerant for cheese fans to experiment with different types of cheeses, because while this box may say cheddar, the powder packets in store-bought mac and cheese contain the same emulsifying salt that is used to keep American cheese creamy. And there are enough emulsifying salts in these packets that they will help other cheeses melt well. The second method is slightly more involved, but gives a pretty impressive looking and tasting mac and cheese. Start by cooking 80 grams of pasta elbows according to the package instructions. And while that's cooking, grate 60 grams of cheddar and measure out 75 milliliters of evaporated milk. Once the pasta is done, but before you strain it, scoop out some of the cooking liquid and measure 75 milliliters of it into the evaporated milk. Then to the strained pasta, add 1 egg, the evaporated milk and cooking liquid, and the cheese. Turn the heat back onto low and stir it for about a minute until the sauce thickens. Most cheeses you come across do not melt well, and that is what making great mac and cheese is all about, getting cheeses to melt perfectly into a delicious sauce. Just like buttermilk or mayonnaise or any other emulsion, cheese will usually separate into fats and solids when it's heated. All 3 of these techniques use different methods to keep the cheese emulsified. Technique 1 used the emulsifying salts in the boxed cheese packet. This second method uses an egg, which when combined with the naturally curdling resistant evaporated milk and the starch in the pasta water, both of which will help keep the egg from curdling, gives a sauce that is creamy and delicious. This recipe is an easy way to take your mac and cheese to the next level without diving into the French sauce making that the final and arguably most classic mac and cheese involves. First, we're gonna make sauce Mornay, or at least a simplified version of it. This sauce lies solidly on the tree of French stocks, mother sauces, and derivatives, which to me, at least, is a fascinating topic for maybe another video. Start by melting 15 grams of unsalted butter, then add 15 grams of flour. Cook it over medium heat while occasionally stirring for about 2 minutes, and then slowly whisk in 250 milliliters of milk. Turn the heat up and bring this to a boil, then boil it for 2 minutes. This is a simple bechamel sauce, but once we add cheese, it becomes sauce Mornay. Hands down, the biggest upside to this recipe is how stable it is, meaning you can use virtually any cheese you'd like, and this sauce will take it. I went with 45 grams of manchego and 45 grams of smoked Gouda, which I grated and then stirred into the hot bechamel. I have a strong preference for saucy mac and cheese. For this version, I like to use about the same volume of sauce to dried pasta. With this particular recipe, that's 90 grams of pasta, then cooked according to the package instructions and mixed into the sauce. Arguably, this method gives both the creamiest and potentially most flavorful sauce, but I almost never make it at home. I stick to my doctored box technique because it takes no time at all. But anyway, that's all for me on this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.